What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and to another roundup keeping you up to date on all the latest wrestling news, rumors and reports. Coming up, we got some breaking news as WWE releases continue, a shocking main event set to be planned for this year's SummerSlam with a big return, and a lot of extra updates regarding the event itself as WWE seems to be bringing up a lot of changes. Backstage news in regards to Finn Balor possibly moving to the Monday Night Raw brand, and Cody Rhodes reveal whether or not it's true that there is some backstage heat between AEW's EVPs. Before we get into it, you guys know what to do. Make sure to elbow drop it and hit those notifications. And for more wrestling, consider subscribing to both of our channels. The first breaking news that we got today is one that hardly makes any sense considering that WWE is struggling right now when it comes to the Monday Night Raw commentary team. Fightful ended up reporting that Tom Phillips has been released by WWE. He is the latest person to be released by the company after they have been letting go so many wrestlers, referee, and staff members over the last couple of months. Tom Phillips started working for WWE in 2012 as a backstage interviewer. He then moved on to doing announcing work for Raw, SmackDown, NXT, NXT UK Main Event, and Superstars when it was still a show. Tom Phillips was the lead play-by-play announcer for Raw from January 2020 until this past April. He replaced Big Joseph in the Raw until he was removed, and lastly replaced by Adnan Virk, who just resigned from the position. So you will think that WWE's backup will be Tom Phillips and they will put him back in that commentary booth to at least get things back to normal. But no, instead they end up releasing him, and now former UFC and Bellator broadcaster Jimmy Smith has joined the Raw announce team alongside Byron Saxton and Corey Graves, and all of that changes we will be able to see played out on Monday. This Tom Phillips release, as I said, hardly makes any sense considering that WWE is still struggling and they don't even know how Jimmy Smith is gonna play it out. So what are they gonna do after that? They also just fired Samoa Joe, so it's not like they can move somebody else onto the play-by-play position if this doesn't work. I don't want to have Michael Cole doing Raw and SmackDown again. Tom Phillips was really that other voice that we really never mind or complain when it comes to the commentary team, because he was solid in that position. Really hoping that WWE knows what they're doing right now, but it really doesn't feel like it. The commentary team was doing great with him, Samoa Joe, and Byron Saxton. There was no need to change all of that, but here we are. On to some other big news. There's a lot of updates in regards to this year's SummerSlam, and things are really getting exciting because it looks like WWE is going all out. First reports indicate that WWE is looking at a Saturday, August 21st as the date for this year's SummerSlam. That is obviously interesting because usually they run it on a Sunday night, and on top of that, that means that they're gonna be running that pay-per-view on the same night as the Manny Pacquiao fight, which is also happening in Las Vegas. So I'm not really too sure what they're thinking here. They're really trying to opt up the competition. This Manny Pacquiao fight definitely has a lot of buzz, so it's odd for WWE to make this move. The possibility of them changing this date though is still there. As WrestleVote updated us, WWE does seem to prefer that Saturday day. Maybe they still do it on a Saturday but change it to a different weekend. That seems to be the logical choice. Adding to all of this, Andrew Sarian of Madman Podcast ended up reporting that there is a huge main event planned out for SummerSlam, and he is strongly hinting at John Cena being part of the show and actually wrestling at it. John Cena and WWE have been in talks about an appearance on the July 16th SmackDown, so that could be his return, all of which leading into a big SummerSlam pay-per-view matchup. It is worth mentioning though that there were no hints given on who he could be facing, but based on the lack of top faces available for Roman Reigns and based on the fact that WWE needs to sell out a 16K seat stadium, one would speculate that perhaps they are looking at John Cena versus Roman Reigns rematch, a match which we never got to see on one of the big four pay-per-views. The report did indicate that this this main event is going to be a match that we haven't seen happen too often, and that it is a pretty big main event considering to today's WWE standards. It was also added that this year's SummerSlam will have a special host just like WrestleMania. So again, it's clear that WWE is going all out with this year's SummerSlam, almost making it just as big as WrestleMania. And with it being in a stadium and things being a bit less restricted now, this will be WWE biggest attendance over the last year and a half, because of course WrestleMania, although it was in a stadium, it was limited to the amount of people that were able to attend the event due to the pandemic. Onto some other big news. Recently we discussed how WWE is planning to do a lot of roster shakeup on Raw and SmackDown, and they are planning to call up a lot of NXT superstars over the next couple of months. That led to a lot of concerns in regards to the top superstars on NXT, because usually the main roster like to steal those superstars. One of those top superstars is Finn Balor. Resolute gave us an update in regards to him, as there is a lot of fans thinking that Finn Balor could be moving up to the main roster once again. The report indicated the following regarding Finn Balor. I'm told the members of the Raw creative team have asked for him for months now. No edict has come down from the top yet, yanking him from Orlando, Florida from NXT. The NXT crew adores Finn Balor, so unless the main roster has major plans for him, I would think he's okay where he is. And I definitely agree with this, and this kind of goes with every other main roster call-up that WWE does from NXT. If you don't have anything concrete for them past the first few that they get into the roster, then don't call them up. We've seen this way too many times already. Take a look at Damian Priest, for example. I'm excited that WWE is finally moving on and giving him a different feud, but he got called up to the main roster over 5 months ago, and the only thing that we have seen him do is go against The Miz and John Morrison. It's almost like he is stuck in that position until WWE Raw Creative finally figures something else to give him. And again, hopefully all of that changes for the meantime. But as for Finn Balor, he is doing amazing on NXT. He is literally probably the best talent that they have over there. Somebody that not only carries the division alongside some of the other top superstars, but he also elevates everybody else that he ends up working with. So you need that on a Wednesday night. Don't rob NXT of all of their top talents. Leave them dry like they used to do back in the day, and then have these top talents on the main roster literally doing nothing for years. I don't think we need to discuss any other examples like Shinsuke Nakamura or Robert Roode, Samoa Joe, and so on. They bring these superstars up, do something with them for like the first 2 months, and then after that it's like, okay, what are we gonna do with you? We have no idea. I do want to see Finn Balor go against the likes of Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and so on once again, but it's true, if you don't have nothing significant for him for the months to come, then don't even think about trading him out of NXT. Opposite to NXT, we of course got AEW, who got a massive pay-per-view coming up this week in AEW Double or Nothing, and you guys already know we will be doing a watch along for that, so make sure to drop us a follow and you know where. Heading into that show though, we had Cody Rhodes doing his usual call before the big pay-per-view, answering a lot of questions. So of course someone had to ask about the recent rumors of him, the Young Bucks, and Kenny Omega not speaking with each other and basically having some backstage heat. Cody Rhodes went on to clarify all of these rumors, indicating that it's not true. He stated the following: "When I heard that the story was floating around, it is one of those things I chopped up as we've been very successful. AEW and with NXT and the Wednesday Night Wars, it created a lot of anger, and I understand that there is a lot of hardcore NXT and WWE fans out there, and that's why those stories like that don't surprise me." He went on to indicate that he talked to Matt and Nick Jackson every single day, and that he talks to Kenny Omega very often, and that all of them support his projects just like he supports their projects. He went on to put over Tony Khan as the main man, but also indicated that if the four of them were not working together, they wouldn't be able to put AEW on television on a weekly basis. It would not be able to function as it has. He ended the statement by indicating that unfortunately, it's not very sexy to say, but there is no truth to that. We will remain one team. Anyways, guys, that is all the latest. If you enjoy or found this informative, don't forget to elbow drop it, and of course, hit those notifications to continue being up to date. I'll catch you on the next one, so stay savage.